I can't do anything with them. Even if I buy your argument as completely true, you're still suspended and were, on the date of this ticket, my ticket, the one I've got authority over, you were suspended by the Secretary of State. Whether or not that was a valid or invalid suspension, you were still suspended. So we've got 2 DWS files, correct?
Talk you over another who's in board status, but I think we're here on this motion hearing.
Yeah, so one file's a money issue, the old one from December 2016. That's a drove while license suspended. The file shows you owe money.
Yes.
Right, all right. So we'll talk about that one. All right, and then you filed a motion on the case from November of 2025, correct? All right, give me a minute to look at the paperwork. Okay, I did see Mr. Blade's motion. I did have a chance to see that, read that one already, so I'm going to read the people's response. Okay, I've had a chance to review. So anything you want to add to your written brief?
All right, guys. Today we are stepping into a courtroom where logic and law are about to collide head-on. The judge wastes no time laying down a critical point. Regardless of any dispute, the defendant was officially suspended at the time of the stop. Right from the start, you can feel the tone. This isn't going to be about emotions or excuses. It's about what's on record, and that sets the stage for everything that follows.
It's showing that there was no personal jurisdiction in the court back the authority to make a judgment or default judgment.
You're talking about the Monroe case?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
They lack jurisdiction in order to make that case or make a judgment for.
Anything else?
Can't find them easily to group of service and collective. I saw people service from the first one.
Just to be clear for the record, we're still talking about the Monroe case?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Right, right.
We two asked for proof of service that were unable to provide.
Right.
They told me that it was with the sheriff. So I went over to the sheriff's office to ask for proof of service because that service.
Right.
Because I never received a notice to appear in court, so I had no idea that we were charged with it.
Okay.
And going forward, I go to the sheriff's office. I ask for the proof of service from Sheriff's Secretary Bird. I'm not sure that they were in a position or if she's at nine test. But she noticed that the ticket had the officer's name, which happened to be down currently the tenant. He come out and spoke to me. He said, I don't remember this ticket. I don't even believe I was, I don't even believe I was on that shift at this time. A few things that he mentioned to me. So I wasn't prepared for this. I was studying everything supposed to be correct. When he spoke to me, I took what he said and I said, okay, maybe I can get him to fill out an affidavit.
Right.
The things he said, I'm not asking him for anything in my favor, just what you recall, all I want. He didn't respond in time. He mentioned that he would have no problem speaking to the court here for the last case. But I didn't receive that response in time to go to the court. But he went into my motion. The officer said he believes that I did have insurance, but I was a pretty sure force. I didn't know if the case was the court going to be there. Nothing. It's prison charge.
Okay. Anything else? Anything to add to your written response that I just read?
Nothing, yeah, the court is well aware that this court doesn't have any jurisdiction over a no proof of insurance citation that was issued by Monroe County Sheriff's Department in 2005.
All right. Mr. Blade, I've got a question for you.
Here's where the defendant tries to take control of the narrative. laying out his version of events and questioning jurisdiction. He brings up missing paperwork, conversations with officers, and what he believes are procedural failures. But while he's trying to build a defense, it slowly starts to feel scattered. From an outside perspective, you can see the disconnect forming. The court is focused on legal facts, while he's leaning on personal experience.
Do you know whether or not the Michigan Secretary of State listed you as a valid driver on November 29, 2025?
No, that's not good.
Okay. So if I told you the Secretary of State record showed you were suspended on the day that Officer Hayden stopped you, you would have no reason to take issue with that fact? If I told you that your driving record listed you as a suspended driver on November 29, 2025, you have no argument one way or the other whether or not that's the case.
One more time.
No, that's all right. I don't want an answer if you don't understand the question. If I told you your Secretary of State driving record showed you as a suspended driver on November 25th of 25, would you have any reason to deny that as factually correct? Okay. All right. So I'm going to deny your motion for two reasons. Number one, his actions are based on what the Secretary of State says, not what the Monroe County Sheriff's Office says. B, I don't have the authority to do what you're asking me to do, because if I understand the situation, your Monroe case has been completely adjudicated in Monroe. They've left that on your record. I don't have the authority to change that record.
That's not what my motion is asking, but I'm only asking you if you would recognize the jurisdiction. That's all I'm asking.
I can't do anything with them. Even if I buy your argument as completely true, you're still suspended and were, on the date of this ticket, my ticket, the one I've got authority over, you were suspended by the Secretary of State. Whether or not that was a valid or invalid suspension, you were still suspended. So my ticket, the Huron Township ticket, is a perfectly valid ticket moving forward.
But the jury,
This is a turning point. The judge zeroes in with precision, stripping the argument down to one unavoidable fact. Was a license suspended or not? It's a clean, clinical dismantling of everything the defendant just presented. No matter how flawed the earlier process may have been, the record stands. In that moment, the courtroom dynamic shifts completely, and the judge firmly closes the door on the motion.
Gather your thoughts. I'm not in any hurry. These kids want a show.
default judgment issued without prior notice can be deemed as a violation of the party's right to due process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But not by me. I can't override the Monroe Court. Now, I can take all this into consideration when I sentence you on this file, but I can't set aside what happened in Monroe. Okay. Okay. Are you just seeking to mitigate your damages here? Are you just seeking to mitigate your damages in this court based on what happened in Monroe?
Monroe is the reason I'm here. So
Absolutely.
we can't separate the two because it's the Monroe charge that got me of driving without.
Right.
That got my license.
Right. I understand that.
I did issue, which I absolutely did. You like to see that?
No. I'll for today's argument, I'll take your word for it.
Did actually have issue,
Right.
but I didn't have an opportunity to defend, to show the court that I had issue. So going to jail and then to prison right behind us, when I come home, I'm trying to get my life together.
Okay. Well, first of all, I can't speak from personal knowledge in Monroe, but every court I know of on a civil infraction, they don't send a notice out on a civil infraction. The ticket is your notice that you've got a problem you got to deal with.
But I didn't receive it. I went to jail that.
So they never handed you a ticket?
No.
Okay. Well, then you got a problem, but I can't fix it. I don't have the authority to fix it. If we have a trial on today's DWLS case, as prosecutor, she's going to have to prove to me that on November 29, 2025, your driving privileges were suspended in the state of Michigan. And she's going to have to prove to me that you were driving a vehicle on that date in Huron Township. If she proves that to me, I'm finding you guilty of drove while license suspended, revoked, or denied. The fact that the Secretary of State shouldn't have suspended you does not change that at all. You were suspended. Whether or not Monroe screwed up or they didn't screw up, you were suspended. So I'm denying your motion.
Now the reality starts to settle in. The defendant pivots. Try to explain the situation and the chain reaction that led him here. But the judge brings it back to fundamentals. What matters in trial? What must be proven? And what the outcome will be if those elements are met. It's no longer about arguing the past. It's about facing a likely future. The tone becomes less argumentative and more inevitable.
Okay? I'm assuming we can have some pretrial conversation?
And you're,
Okay.
like, if one wishes to plead to be drove while license suspended, I will dismiss the two remaining.
And I don't even have the remaining charges, so are they already in default? Or did I just not get the files?
Your vehicle and another misdemeanor registration title among the three.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking for civil infraction. Okay, all right. Do you want to avail yourself of that offer? He will dismiss 2 misdemeanors if you plead to the drove while license suspended. So the misdemeanor unregistered vehicle and the plate or registration violation misdemeanor, right, those 2, would be dismissed if you plead to the drove while license suspended, revoked, or denied.
Leave that open.
The hallway is yours. Yeah, go take a minute. That's fine. Why?
Research.
You no objection to another? We'll adjourn it. Oh, I don't care. March 12th, give you enough time?
Yes.
Okay, so Heather will prepare a notice on that one. Now, as to the December 1, 2016 file, our records show that you owe $840. Are you in a position to make some kind of a payment plan on that?
But I don't have money to pay. I currently don't have any money.
All right, you're confused. You don't have any money today?
Yes.
All right, but you could commit to some regular payments and make them. How much, how often, when do you want to start?
But I don't make very much money.
I need you to make some kind of commitment today if you can. You don't have to start it today.
It shows that.
Okay. How much?
Even if it's just one,
No, I'm not paying a clerk to process a dollar payment. But I got to get something going. How's this? When's the last time you worked? Where do you work? Walmart? Cormart, what do they do? Okay, full-time job? Okay. Can you pay $50 a month? Start when? First Friday of March is the 6th, and that's 2 weeks out. Can you do that? 50 a month. We'll always take more, so if you want to pay extra. $50 a month, starting March 6th. Yes? Agreed? Okay. We're getting you notice on that other court date. Have a good day.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Officer Haydeck, always a pleasure. Be safe.
In this final stretch, the courtroom shifts from conflict to resolution. A plea deal is placed on the table, offering a way to reduce the damage, and the defendant has to weigh that reality. Then comes the financial side, old fines, payment plans, and accountability. The judge works through it methodically, restoring order and closing the loop. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.